I believe everything mainstream media tells me. I believe everything the government tells me, especially if it's a Republican government with a Republican president and a Republican administration. What would you think of me if I said that? What would you think of me if I said, I'm from the government and I'm the president of the United States, and I want you to believe that this right here is a drug cartel boat that we are about to blow up? Would you just believe it? I have to think that in this day and age where technology is so readily available, and how many examples you can pull up of the government lying to us to embroil us in wars, to get us to accept fiat currency, to accept the drug cartels known as Big Pharma, to cut deals for big oil, to have Washington's District of Criminals be run by 12,000 lobbyists and special interest groups. They've lied to us so much, it's hard for me to believe that anybody with half a brain cell left in their skull still believes what the government says. And yet here we are today. And this isn't the only guy. He's obviously conservative. He's pro-MAGA. He's pro-Trump. And just as a disclaimer, Trump is just as bad and is playing for the same bankster, corporate, billionaire, trillionaire team owners as Biden and Harris and Obama. They're all on the same team. They're all in the same club. We're not in that club. And they use that club to club us over the head with the fiat currency Ponzi scheme of the Federal Reserve. But you got this guy named David Hookstead. And David Hookstead just released a video that has over 108,000 views in 3 hours. Crazy amount of views. That's more views than I'll get all month on this channel. David Hookstead says Trump releases brutal cartel strike video, no survivors. And again, the reason I'm doing this video is because there are actually people out there who just drop their guard and just believe whatever President Trump says, just like conservatives rightly criticized Obama followers who just believed Obama because it was he who said it. It's ridiculous. It's an insane world we live in. Let's go through this.
Welcome in, everyone. We have the footage of the brutal strike against the drug cartels that President Donald Trump announced. I'm filming this on September 2nd. He has now released footage of the strike after first announcing the strike had happened to the world during an Oval Office meeting on Tuesday afternoon where he spoke with the press. And everyone's fired up. Everyone wants to know what the details of what happened are. We're going to get into all of that and much more. I'm going to show you the strike footage. I'm going to show you his comments. We're going to go over what details are known. This situation, folks, to put it as simply as possible, is absolutely nuts. I've been begging Trump to hit the cartels ever since he returned to office.
If you're going to beg Trump to hit the cartels, wouldn't you hit the biggest cartels? What cartel? Here's one example. One question. What cartel spanning two different types of administrations, Republican administration, Democrat administration, what cartel owned and operated and controlled 90% of the opium trade through the military-industrial complex in Afghanistan for 20 years? What cartel? So if you're talking about striking a cartel, wouldn't you go after the biggest cartel? Although the president isn't going to strike the biggest cartel because the biggest cartel might happen to be, this is speculation, might happen to be under his command. Because we have the petrodollar system. Don't we also have, and hasn't history proven that we have a narco dollar system? Isn't that why we marched our sons and daughters into Afghanistan to control the opium trade in Afghanistan in the early 2000s?
Finally, we have the first actual strike on a ship leaving Venezuela. We, of course, have Venezuela surrounded right now with naval vessels. This is as real as it's ever going to get. This is a sign that Trump is not playing games. I can't wait to show you guys this footage.
So he is for government intervention in the affairs of other countries. He is for entangling ourselves into foreign wars because that's what that is. Surrounding another country with naval vessels is an act of war just as much as sanctions are an act of war. Now let's listen to this zero critical thinking, fully let your guard down analysis of an announcement by President Donald Trump from David Hookstead.
President Donald Trump stunned the country when he announced that a strike had been carried out against a drug target, a cartel target that was departing Venezuela. That made it clear it happened at sea, happened in the ocean, and that's why we have the Navy ships there. Shortly after he announced that, Marco Rubio, I will go ahead and put this on the screen for you as well. Marco Rubio came out and said the following. Let me make sure I got it. Yep. Said, as POTUS just announced moments ago, today the U.S. military conducted a lethal strike in the Southern Caribbean against a drug vessel which had departed from Venezuela and was being operated by a designated narco-terrorist organization.
It's hilarious that he's going to quote, "Little Marco Rubio is just another Washington, D.C. politician that is all talk and no action." That's a direct quote from Donald Trump. Here's another direct quote from Donald Trump about Marco Rubio. "Rubio is totally owned by the lobbyists and special interests." Why would you make a guy who you believe is totally owned by the lobbyists and special interests the Secretary of State? A lightweight senator with the worst voting record in the Senate, lazy. That's Donald Trump about Marco Rubio. How about this one? Why would the people of Florida vote for Marco Rubio when he defrauded them by agreeing to represent them as their senator and then quit? This guy is going to believe Donald Trump, who said about Marco Rubio that he's totally owned by lobbyists and special interests. And what did Marco Rubio say about Donald Trump? Quote, "He runs on this idea that he's fighting for the little guy, but he has spent his entire career sticking it to the little guy." And then he says that Donald Trump, multiple times, says that Donald Trump is a con artist.
I bet you all know. You all have friends. You all have friends that are thinking about voting for Donald Trump. Friends, do not let friends vote for con artists.
Here's a guy that buys a house for $179,000. He sells it to a lobbyist who's probably here for $380,000, and then legislation is passed. You tell me about this guy. This is what we're going to have.
Here's the guy that inherited $200 million. If he hadn't inherited $200 million, you know where Donald Trump would be right now? Selling watches in Manhattan.
I have to say, he lied this time. He lied. 100%. 100%.
You lied about the Polish workers.
Yeah.
You lied to the students of Trump University.
38 years ago.
Oh, he lied 38 years ago. All right, I guess there's a statute of limitation on lies.
So the con artist Donald Trump hired the totally owned by lobbyists Marco Rubio to be the Secretary of State, and now we have David Hookstead believing and falling hook, line, and sinker for everything these two con men are saying. You can't even make this stuff up.
Rubio also put this out.
And he's being serious. Only a 5-year-old would say, "Yes, I believe everything the government says. If the president said that we did an airstrike on the drug cartels, you better believe that's the drug cartels." How do we know that's the drug cartel? Hey, David Hookstead, how do you know it's the drug cartels that was decimated? And we're going to see that video here in a second because he's so proud to show us. How do you know? The answer is you don't. The government lies to us. You know that they do. Trump lies all the time. You know that he does. Obama lied all the time. You know that he did. And you criticized the people who followed Obama for believing Obama's words because it was Obama who said it. And now here you are believing Trump's words because it's Trump who said it. It's pathetic.
So Venezuelan dictator, and we're on the brink of more action against Venezuela. The Venezuelan dictator apparently said that the U.S. military operation was all smoke. This is the way people are interpreting this is Rubio is saying, well, smoke equals fire because now we just opened up. We unleashed the force of the U.S. military in just a tiny pinprick fashion to show you what is possible. And the footage is now out. So I'm going to throw this up on the screen. President Donald Trump released this on Tuesday, late afternoon, about 5 o'clock-ish. Said earlier this morning, on my orders, U.S. military forces conducted a kinetic strike against positively identified Tren de Aragua narco-terrorist in the Southcom area responsibility. TDA, of course, has been named a terrorist organization. Once you're declared a terrorist organization, the president has broad authority to take you out, and that is what happened here.
Guess who else is declared a terrorist by the FBI and the alphabet soup agencies? People who stand up against their government like the colonists did against the redcoats. That's who else is found on the terrorist watch list.
TDA is a designated foreign terrorist organization, like I just said, operating under the control of Nicolas Maduro, responsible for mass murder, drug trafficking, I can't read some of that stuff, acts of violence and terror across the United States and Western Hemisphere. The strike occurred while the terrorists were at sea in international waters, transporting illegal narcotics heading to the United States. The strike resulted in 11 terrorists killed in action. No U.S. forces were harmed in the strike. Please let this serve as a notice to anybody even thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America. Beware. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
And you're going to just believe everything liar Donald Trump says.
Let's go ahead and watch this strike. You can see it's a boat carrying drugs. It looks like 4 engines on it.
That's all you know about this, is that this could have been totally AI generated too. We don't even know that. But we do know that the DOJ released Epstein's cell footage and it turned out to all be a lie. So the Trump administration releases Epstein's cell footage and he's completely lying about it, and they are completely lying about it. What gives you any idea that this is the truth, Dave?
Has no idea the eye in the sky can see it. They have no idea they're being tracked. And then boom, lights out. That's lights out, game over. Yeah, it's hard to believe any. They said they got 11 of them. Let's go ahead and rewatch that back a little bit.
Now, whatever this is, we know the military has some crazy weaponry and technology, which is absolutely terrifying, because if they can do this to them, or whoever this is, whatever this boat is, if this is truly a boat filled with people, we don't know who they are. They could have been people who are pro-freedom. We don't know who they are, but we do know that they have these kind of capabilities, and those kind of capabilities are terrifying.
That's devastating. Sucks to be a bad guy.
Dave, just believe in it all.
Well, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You want to threaten the United States of America, you want to hurt our great people, this is what's waiting for you. Let this be a message to all the bad guys. And for those of you who hadn't seen Trump's comments earlier today when he announced the strike, we can go ahead and watch.
Promise. They'll start something else. But I just want to congratulate you. It's a very big deal. When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that, and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago. And our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it. We didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over. Do you have any questions, please?
So there you go. Those were Trump's comments earlier today when he was announcing the strike. And now you guys have seen the video for yourselves of the strike that Trump launched against a drug cartel target that was smuggling poison into this country with the intent of hurting our people. And there's no other way to sum it up than this is a huge, huge positive step in the right direction. And we have to give credit where credit is due. And the fact of the matter is, multiple administrations chose to do nothing about this. Multiple administrations chose to not directly confront the cartels that are a major issue for this country.
Again, there is no bigger cartel than the CIA and the alphabet soup agencies. We know that. Just look at the Iran-Contra affair. Look at the Fast and Furious. Look at the apprehension, surveillance, and control of Afghanistan. Look at the lies that embroil us in war, like the Gulf of Tonkin episode, eventually costing 59,000 service members their lives, plus 1.5 to 3 million civilian casualties, all predicated on a lie. And David Hookstead doesn't seem to care that what he's propagating right here could very well be and likely is a lie. And as for stopping drug cartels, except for the government-approved drug cartels like Pfizer and Moderna and CVS and Walgreens, you know, the people who kind of started the opioid crisis and facilitated and profited from Convid 1984 by George Orwell.
That come into our communities and obliterate our people and poison our people. And when Trump returned to office, he made it clear something would be done about it. He made it clear that this would not be tolerated any longer.
Trump's like, you're not going to poison our people. Now let me announce to you Operation Warp Speed. We're going to use the military industrial complex to make sure that we get Pfizer's concoction into the veins of as many Americans as we possibly can because you know it's safe and effective. So here's Dave. If you're watching this video, and I doubt you will, look at this. He's got 140,000 views. What did we start? It was like 100,000. Now it's 140. He gained 40,000 just in the last 8 minutes. 40,000 views on this one video right here. And this guy is actually peddling pro-government propaganda, pro-big pharma propaganda. There was never a better, more effective big pharma industrial complex salesman than Donald J. Trump, even bigger than Biden. Remember, Donald Trump oversaw the biggest power and wealth transfer, the biggest power grab in the history of the world, $6.2 trillion under the CARES Act, the lion's share of which went to corporate elitists and the big pharma industrial complex. And this guy's talking about eradicating poison from the drug cartels. You got to be a mental midget to believe this stuff.
He made it clear action would be taken. And here we are, September 2nd. We have the first kinetic strike against the drug cartels. And that is a huge, huge, huge win for the good guys. It is something we should all celebrate. It is something I give all the credit in the world to the military operators, the people running the aircraft, the people.
Look at this guy's eyes. Look at it. He's so trusting. Or he knows he's full of crap and he's just intentionally being disingenuous and making money and gathering the shekels from the unthinking masses. It's no measure of good mental health to be considered well-adjusted to the profoundly sick society. And we are in a profoundly sick society if people are going to continue. Look at his view count. His like to dislike ratio is off the charts, 13,000 likes to less than 200 dislikes. And all the comments, virtually every single one of these comments, there's 2,398. Let me refresh. 2,398 comments. 2,518 comments. This right here tells you that the road that leads to destruction is very wide and many are finding it. Good job, Dave. You're going to be rich. Your channel is monetized. You're going to get a lot of people flocking to you. When you shamelessly promote the left versus right paradigm lie in today's corrupt politics and politicians, you will profit greatly. But what does it profit a man to gain the entire world and lose his soul, Dave? Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you want to support this channel, you can do it for free. Just like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon. I will see you in the next video.